Hi there, welcome to Basic Grammar series. I am Mandeep and today we are going to learn about pronouns. What are pronouns? What are their different types? So by the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify and differentiate between different types of pronouns: personal pronouns, possessive pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, interrogative pronouns, reflexive and emphatic pronouns, indefinite, reciprocal, distributive, and relative pronouns. Not only you'll be learning how to identify these pronouns, but you'll also learn how to differentiate between the most confusing possessive adjective and possessive pronouns. So let's begin. What are pronouns? In the simplest terms, pronouns can be defined as the noun substitutes because they substitute nouns in a sentence in order to avoid the repetition of noun over and over again and to provide variety to our writing or speaking. Pronouns are used. Consider this example here. John is a studious boy. John studies in standard 8. John is quite regular in his studies. John never misses a day. So there is so much repetition of John in this piece. So what if we replace John with the pronoun he? So John is a studious boy. He studies in standard 8. He is quite regular. He never misses a day of school. This is clear that pronouns are the replacement of the nouns in a sentence in order to avoid repetition. Now, the noun or the noun phrase that a pronoun is replacing in a sentence or story is called an antecedent. Now, antecedents may consist of more than one word and they may appear in earlier sentences. Take this example here. Sarah and Rachel are best friends. They go everywhere together. Here, they is a pronoun replacing Sarah and Rachel. So the antecedent of they is Sarah and Rachel. John went to the store. He bought some milk. Now what is the antecedent of he here? It is John. We have learned about the definition of pronouns and the antecedent of a pronoun. Let's move on to the types of the pronouns. There are mainly 9 types of pronouns: personal, possessive, demonstrative, interrogative, reflexive and emphatic, indefinite, reciprocal, distributive, and relative pronouns. Now, what are personal pronouns? Personal pronouns are the substitutes for nouns that refer to things or persons. Now, these pronouns change their form as per the position of noun in a sentence as per the noun case. Consider this example here. Sarah and Rachel are best friends. She often helps her with her studies. Now, here she and her are the personal pronouns. Now, she replaces Sarah and her replaces Rachel. Sarah is in a subjective position here. It is the nominative case, subjective case of noun. So we'll use subjective pronoun here, she. Rachel here is an objective case. So we'll use an objective pronoun for girl, that is her. So this is how the pronouns often use their forms as per the cases of the noun. Now, as per the person of address, there are 3 types of personal pronouns: first person pronoun, second person pronoun, and third person pronoun. First person pronouns are the pronouns that refer to the speaker. In subjective case, first person pronouns are I and we. And in objective case, first person pronouns are me and us. Now the second person pronouns are the pronouns that refer to the listener. You. You is the subjective case of second person pronoun. And for the objective case also, it is you. Let's take an example. Didn't Rohan lend you his book the other day? Here you is the second person pronoun and it is in the objective case. Now let's take it in the first subjective case. You told me that the exams are beginning from the 23rd of this month. So you here is in the subjective case. Now the third person pronouns are the ones about whom the two people are talking. That is he, she, it. In subjective case, it will be he, she, it, they. And in objective case, it will be him, her, it, them. Moving on to possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns are those pronouns that indicate possession or relationship. This house is hers. Now, hers here is indicating possession, ownership of the house by her. These crayons are mine. Here, mine is indicating the ownership of the crayons by me. So, these crayons are mine. Here, mine is the possessive pronoun. Now, many learners get confused with the possessive adjective and possessive pronouns. Let's consider these two examples here. This is not Ravi's book. His book is new. This is not Ravi's book. His is new. Now, in the first example, his book is a possessive adjective as it is followed by a noun book. And in the second example, his is new. His refers to the book. And here we can easily replace his with another noun. If you are ever confused whether it is a possessive pronoun or a possessive adjective, try replacing it with a possessive noun. Let's take a few more examples. That is my car. Here my is possessive adjective. That car is mine. Mine will be the possessive pronoun. Let's take two more. This is his idea. This idea is his. This is not our rabbit. This rabbit is not ours. Moving on to demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns, they point out to the objects or the objects that they indicate. They indicate specific persons, things, places. Take for example, this is an attractive desk. This is pointing out to a desk. So it is a demonstrative pronoun. Are these the papers that you need? Here these are pointing out to the noun papers. These is a demonstrative pronoun. Those are the horses that can really run. That was a good joke. So here that is pointing out to the joke. So that becomes a demonstrative pronoun here. Interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are used for asking questions. Who stole the compact discs? What have you decided? Which is your bag? Here, who, what, which, these are the interrogative pronouns. So the interrogative pronouns are who, whose, whom, which, what. Now again, there is a lot of confusion between interrogative pronouns and interrogative adjectives. One main thing here is that the interrogative adjectives, they always modify the noun. So they always modify a noun by asking question. Whereas in interrogative pronouns, they are used to substitute or replace a noun with a question. An interrogative adjective will always be followed by a noun, whereas an interrogative pronoun will always be followed by a verb. Which pencil box do you want? Which of these is your pencil box? Now in the first sentence, right after which is placed a noun and it is modifying the noun pencil box. Which pencil box? The second sentence, which is an interrogative pronoun. And in the first sentence, which is an interrogative adjective. Moving on to reflexive and emphatic pronouns. Now, emphatic pronouns are the pronouns like myself, himself, yourself, etc. They are placed immediately after the noun to which they refer in order to show emphasis. It often shows the emphasis and implies that the action was done by the subject without any help. Take for an example, the boy himself visited the bookstore. Himself here shows an emphasis on the boy that he did this action of visiting the bookstore all on his own. Now, what is reflexive pronoun? A reflexive pronoun always reflects back to the noun. So the action is reflected back to the noun in a reflexive pronoun. So reflexive pronouns reflect the action of the verb back to the noun in the sentence. They are often formed by adding self or selves to the personal pronouns like himself, herself, myself, themselves. Examples: The boys saw themselves as heroes. I cut myself while chopping the vegetables. Here myself and themselves are the reflexive pronouns. Here the confusion is that the emphatic pronouns also contain self in them, and the reflexive pronouns also contain self. Now, the confusion can be cleared very easily by just identifying is the action reflected back to the antecedent. Take for example, he made the cake for himself. Action here is made. So the cake, did he make it for himself? So here it is reflecting back to the antecedent he. Whereas for emphatic pronouns, it often shows that the action was done by the antecedent on his own. So he himself made the cake. Here it is reflecting that the action was done by the antecedent on its own. So this is one very clear difference between emphatic and reflexive pronouns. I hope that it's clear. Let's move on to indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns stand for the nouns that are implied or that are just understood. So these are used for the nouns that are not specific. They can be used in the singular or plural forms. Example, anybody, everybody. Is there anyone who likes a chocolate? Though the food was stale, nobody complained. Here nobody is an indefinite pronoun, as we do not know the specific noun that it is pointing to. It is pointing to unspecified noun. No one came to the auditorium. No one here is an indefinite pronoun. All were waiting for the announcement. All here refers to all the people present. So it is not any specific noun. All here becomes an indefinite pronoun. Moving on to reciprocal pronouns. So the pronouns like each other, one another, referring to the action occurring in one direction and also back in the opposite direction. So a reciprocal pronoun is a pronoun that expresses a mutual relationship where something or someone performs an action on others and receives the same action in return. Andrew and Bill helped each other. So each other here is a reciprocal pronoun that reflects a relationship between Andrew and Bill. So the action is like back and forth. If one performs an action, the other receives it, and other performs an action, the first one receives the same action. Each other, one another are the reciprocal pronouns mostly used. It shows that the people who perform the action also receive it. Romeo and Juliet love each other. So each other here again is a reciprocal pronoun. Here it shows action performed and received as well by both of these. The coaches spoke to each other about the strategy. Here again each other is a reciprocal pronoun that reflects that the action of the coaches of speaking to each other is reflected back and forth. Moving on to distributive pronouns. So a distributive pronoun refers to a pronoun that shows members of a group or individuals separately rather than as a whole. The emphasis is more on the distribution of items or people in a group. Examples: neither, none, either, each, every, everyone. Consider this that from a whole group, the emphasis is on one picked out of the group, like each one of you. So here the emphasis is on each. Neither solution is up to the mark. So neither here is a distributive pronoun. Everyone on the committee agreed to voting. Now there are many members in the committee, but how does everyone become a distributive pronoun here? Here everyone talks about each person separately. Now distributive pronouns are of two types: singular distributive pronouns and plural distributive pronouns. Singular distributive pronouns refer to individuals or things one at a time, like each, every, neither. Each of the contestants will receive a prize. Either of you have to help me. Neither option is suitable for this situation. Plural distributive pronouns refer to multiple individuals or things at once. Example: both teams played exceptionally well. Neither of the books have been returned to the library. Here neither is referring to more than one book at a time. Moving on to relative pronouns. Relative pronouns are used to add information about a noun already mentioned, and they also help in joining two statements together, like the words who, whom, whose, which, that. I think there would be a lot of children who would love to have an ice cream in the summer. Here, who is a relative pronoun. That's the dog who doesn't like me. There are some very good art books which you can get the ideas from. We use whom in formal styles of writing to refer to people when the person is in object position of the verb. Like the response of the managers whom I have consulted is very positive. So here we are using whom for referring to managers. Managers here are in the object position of the verb. And we use who with the collective human nouns. Take for example, Nisa phoned the fire brigade who then alerted the police. Here who is referring to the fire brigade, that is the collective of human nouns here. So that was all for the pronouns. If you want to know about the pronoun cases, they are very similar to the noun cases. You can refer to my video on noun cases. I have given the link in the description and as well as over the card here. I'll see you next week with another grammar lesson. If you have liked this video, then please give a like. Don't forget to share it with your friends. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then please do so. There is no great motivation than getting a new subscription and some positive comments from all of you. Thank you so much.